GrindHard with the power couple. Whoop, whoop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mic check 1 2 1 2. How's it going, people? We're getting set up per usual. You know, we got to make sure everything right before we actually roll into it. GrindHard podcast, man. This is segment number 34. Segment number 34. Pretty sure it's segment number 34.
Let me check. Okay, you're right.
I'm
It's
right.
34. Yeah.
The music in y'all headphones, is the music in y'all headphones? Oh, it's just in mine because I'm here. So it's cool. I mean, I'm good though.
Oh, okay.
Alright, if we can do a quick sound check. Just mic check 1 2 into the mic.
I'm nervous today.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. One more time.
Mic check, mic check.
Okay, let me turn you up a little more. Or what I can do is
This is M to the Jay-Z.
turn you up here.
Mic check, mic check.
Okay, yeah, that's
A little
good.
sound, a little more sound.
Can you hear yourself when you're speaking to the headphones? I mean the mic.
Mic check. This is M to the Jay-Z. Aye,
Cool, we good on sound.
It's your part-time rapper. Throw that in there too.
Say I write everything. I told my sons, when y'all hear a little raunchy rap song, I might have written that. Not gonna sing it. I'm not gonna rap it. I have written it for somebody.
Cool. All right, well, if y'all ready, I can start recording. Have you done a podcast, any type of interview before?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
Just whenever y'all, well, you know, but whenever you speak, just speak into the mic, because to me, the audio is more important, because that's what goes on the podcast platform.
Gotcha.
The video is just a plus, going live.
Right.
So people can be nosy.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
You're a petty podcast host.
All right, if you ready, are you gonna jump straight into it, or you want me to
I'm scared. Yeah.
bring it in? Oh, so you want? some
No,
flavor?
you get into it. I
Okay.
introduce it, then we go from there.
Okay, for 5. Here we go.
No turning back.
Here we go. All right, GrindHard podcast, man. This is your host, DJ Slim Goldie, and here with my co-host, Miss Sierra.
Hello.
Miss Shay is not present today. She has some things she had to take care of, but we holding it down for you, Miss Shay. Today we have a very, very special guest, and I'm gonna let Miss Sierra introduce her.
Hey y'all. All right, today we are here with Marsita Jordan, the writer, publisher, minister, producer, and educator. And she probably got a couple more titles that we probably gonna get into later, but she's a woman of many titles. How are you today, Miss Marsita?
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be here today. Like I said, with the power couple.
Yes, y'all know
Thank
I
you,
love
thank you.
me some Marsita. When she talk, I listen. So today we do have a topic. Actually, today was supposed to be kind of like a girl talk segment, but because Miss Shay had an emergency, we changed it up just a little bit. But I'm pretty sure what she has to say can touch everybody. But first, I want to get into a little bit about you personally, so that people can get to know you. So, you are an educator. What districts have you worked in?
Oh my. Yes, that's my first love. Of course, the first thing that I do, the thing that pays the bills, the thing that funds all of my dreams is an educator. Currently, I am at Humble ISD in Humble, Texas. I am a 7th grade Texas history teacher. I have worked in Brenham ISD as an English teacher in DAEP. I have worked in Navasota ISD as an 8th grade English teacher, and also the founder of the Princess Code, which was a girls organization, which I am now operating on the outside as a nonprofit. And then I went to Duncanville ISD and worked as a 7th and 8th grade SPED representative. So I have just kind of, I say, God, you're funny, because I got these certifications when I first got certified as a teacher. I just did it on the whim, on what I felt like would make me marketable. And so God's sense of humor has been that He's allowed me to use each certification that I got in every arena. So that's my meat of everything, is being an educator.
That's good. And
That's
so
awesome.
I remember the Princess Code. We'll get into that in a minute. But I remember, well, that's how I first met you, was you working at the junior high.
Mm-hmm.
Friends with my mama.
Yes.
Shout out to Shell Sims.
Yes. Ronette.
Yeah. I use the government. CJ's creation.
Yes. Yes.
So what is your most memorable moment as an educator, or what is something that I guess kind of changed you as an educator?
For me right now, living in this moment, I've been in this thing now 9 years, and my most memorable memory is in this moment where I have relationships now with my kids who started with me. Like I came to Navasota last month because I had a week off, and I literally had to go up to this high school 3 times because my kids were, messaging me, commenting on Facebook, I didn't get to see you, you need to come see me. So that is one of the most prideful moments for a teacher, is when you have built a relationship with these children, to get messages now about how that birthday card that you gave me really meant a lot to me. Or I remember when you cried with me in the hallways, and I would never forget that. To them, some of them even calling me mama now. So that when you still have a relationship with your kids 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years later, you know that you have made an impact one way or the other. And I'm just living in the moment because, every year I get the opportunity to see a child move on. And now I've been in the game so long that every year I get opportunity to see a child meet that milestone and graduate from high school and go on to college. Now I even have teacher grandbabies. Like, I have students who are having babies now and I'm like, wow, like, you were just in junior high, what's going on? But
that's a good one, teacher grandbaby.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So can you tell us about the Princess Code? I've seen the Princess Code on Facebook over the years, but I never knew the exact meaning of it. So can you tell us the meaning of you starting the Princess Code?
Yes.
And I guess what it does for the girls.
Oh man, Princess Code was my baby. Going into it, and I'll share with you guys a little bit about where I am as an educator. I'm tired, and but every school that I've been to, I always felt like I was on assignment. And in Navasota is the district that I've worked at the longest, and I felt like that I was truly on assignment. And so God gave me this vision for this girls club, and I just wanted 8th grade because I felt like that was my calling. And the Princess Code came about. It was just a way to teach girls, just general ethics, general, charisma stuff, etiquette, and then I implemented a number one core value that I felt like was we're kind of moving into that area, and that was entrepreneurship. And so I taught these girls that it's good to have an education, but it's also to have a grind, and so a hustle. And so I brought different business women in that would come in, tell them how they started up, different so they could see female bosses in different areas, and so that in areas that they may not have known that they could go into, that they would come in. It was called the Woman Entrepreneur Workshop, And every year these women would devote their time to come out and talk to these girls. And then at the end of the year, everything that we talked about, whether it was mental illness and mental awareness, bullying, whether it was, running away, feeling like an outcast, we touched about on those things every weekly. And then at the end of this school year, we will always have a princess ball. And this was the opportunity for those girls to have all of their hard work, see it pay off, and they got to dress up like princesses, and we crowned them. And the beauty of it was that I would have their fathers escort them and crown them, and the fathers would never know that they were going to say something positive about them. So it was like it was magical to see how you kind of bridge that relationship, whether it was an estranged relationship or if they had to get an uncle or a brother, how just making it visible to them to know that male relationship, having a positive male role model in their life is very important, even as a female. And so we did that, and I worked hard. I did all of that by myself. Fundraisers, we would have fundraisers and give back to Relay for Life. We just did a lot of things. And so and I just think that was my baby. And one community member in Navasota told me that you laid the foundation. So a lot of things that we're seeing now, she really believed that it was because I planted those seeds in Navasota early on.
Well, I need you to come back to Navasota so my baby can be a part of the Princess Code.
I know. It broke my heart when I first left, and one of the teachers called and saying, all of these girls are up here looking for you. They're ready to join the Princess Code, but I had left, and so the program left with me, and I was like, ah.
So is there a way that you can keep the program going without being in the district?
You can. I tried to. I'm telling you, everybody is not built to do this because, I had to go around. I was the department head, and I had Princess Code going on, and I was teaching pre-AP and on level. So you have to find the time to really get it in there. So that means a lot of early mornings, a lot of long nights. And everybody just wasn't willing to commit to it, especially if that's not their baby. See, it was my baby, so I was willing to commit that time and effort to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody, I tried to, do you want to do it? Like, y'all can do it. And it's like, oh no, that's a little much.
Yeah. So it would take a lot of dedication.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Oh, I love the idea. So
now I'm gonna do it global. So that's my thing. My baby is gonna continue. I try to get it into more school districts because I have talked to, other administrators and say they feel like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And I thought about churches. Just it's so many avenues that you can implement the program in, and so we'll get it up and rolling.
I'm on the lookout for it. So Princess Code's coming to a district near you.
Yes. Yes.
All right, now let's get into you being an author.
Yes.
So I was supposed to order the book Love Language. And I got a little sidetracked and I forgot to order it. So I guess we're going to, in a few weeks, I'm going to have to do a review on the book.
Yeah.
But can you tell us a little bit about Love Language and what inspired you to write it?
Love Language was birthed many, many years ago. It's funny. I have always been a poet, and I love poetry. So I am a hopeless romantic. Like, I love all of the romantic stuff. I love the guy being chivalrous, and I love all that. So I really dive deep into the love language, and which is eros. And eros is that affectual love. It is the expression of love. It is not just, I feel this, but it's how you express it. It is the attraction that you feel for the person when you first meet them, so it's what draws you into a person. It is what makes you want to dive into and get to know this person. And so Love Language Arrows Volume 1 is about all of that. And I divided it into 3 sections. And of course, it's about love and you falling in love. And then, of course, the second section is about the sexual part of love. So it's some pretty sultry poems in there. You might get a little hot under the collar, but I told God, I'm saving marriages, Lord. so it gets a little steamy. But I didn't want to shortchange myself. I wanted to put, and it's a language. It's sometimes you may be with your partner and y'all talk a little dirty. And then, because it's not always, oh, honey, I love you, you're so sweet. And sometimes bedroom talk can get a little raunchy. So you have, I put in there all of those different things, like the butterflies and, the frills and thrills that you first feel. And then when you really get hot and heavy with a person. And then the last section is broken arrows. I did a play on words, and so that's the other dynamic of love, is when y'all don't like each other for the moment, or you hurt me and I'm going to tell you how much you hurt me. And so I thought that those were the 3 main dynamics that I needed to touch upon about love, because that's something that when you're in love with a person, that's what you deal with every day. Sometimes I love you and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I want to go take you in the bedroom in the middle of the day, and then sometimes I don't even want you talking to me.
Yeah.
So that's the love language, and I have plenty of poems that it will be a volume 2 of it.
So with being a educator and a minister, people kind of think you're not supposed to feel and do, and so
Right.
with you being a little raunchy,
Mm-hmm.
that's the right word.
Yes.
Yeah, with your book getting a little raunchy, do you think you got any bad, I won't say reviews, but do you think that people kind of look at you a little different?
I was very, very nervous about that part. And I just said, Lord, let my pastors just be understanding from the beginning. And it was amazing the way the women of God received it. Even the men of God, they were like, okay, yeah, we need this, because what it is, and we'll be talking about, the road back to your authenticity later. But when you are courageous enough to be your authentic self, you'd be amazed how people receive that transparency. They are willing to receive it, because what you do is you give them an outlet to be who they really are. And a lot of times we are walking and wearing the fabric of other people's influence, and we really do care about what other people think and say about us. And so I was a little weary, but I was like, this is me. And all of this is me. This part, the love part, the sexy part, most of those poems was written while I was married. So it wasn't like I was out there, and and then it's some when I wasn't married. But,
Yeah.
But I wanted to write about all of those experiences and not act like we don't have them, because we do. And it's been well received. I've been surprised. And I've even had ministers say we need that. We don't really touch upon that, because what the religious world has taught us is that sex is dirty, and it's not. It's one of the most beautiful things that God has given us, because if it wasn't beautiful, we wouldn't even want to be with our mate and multiply. And so when Adam looked upon Eve, he said, this is good. So that attraction, we can't say that we don't have that, and to deny it would be wrong to ourselves. It's not being true to ourselves.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, we are human.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
even pastors are human.
Right.
Right, and taking on those many roles, like one role is being an author, and I look at that as an art as well, because you're
Mhm.
creating literature, off of your head, off of your
Right.
experiences. So you have fiction, nonfiction, or whatever. So in those points, you want to take the people on an adventure,
Right.
to explore. Hey, this is where I went inside of my head. Y'all come here. Y'all go down this road with me,
Right.
or whatever. And even if it's based off of I think this book is probably based off of experience and your personal opinion or perception on love and the sexual part of it. So they just got to be understanding with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's an art.
Yes. And like Erica Badu say, I'm sensitive.
Yeah. I like that one. All right. So the next book is Mama's Best Wig.
Yeah. I went from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. It's no in between over here.
No in between. And let me just say, I am that type of writer. I write everything. So it can be fiction, it can be poetry one day. It could be a children's book the next day. It can be inspiration the next day. It might be something purely theological,
Yeah.
But that's just the type of person that God has made me. Now, Mama's Best Wig is also, it came from my personal experience. If you see the book, you'll see that it's a mother, and she has 4 kids, and she's working a couple of jobs. So that is kind of my background. I struggled and worked hard and raised 4 children, and it wasn't always easy. So I remember I started wearing wigs when I was rearing them up. And I remember one moment when my kids started laughing and said, "Mama, your wig is a little, slipped." And I was like, and I thought about that, and I was like, they laugh at me, but they don't understand the reason behind me wearing these wigs. And the reason why I started wearing wigs is because I had 4 children that were growing, that needed things. And it wasn't always a male in the house to help me with those things. And so I had to make some sacrifices. So getting a wig, a cost-effective hairstyle where I could wear it, whenever, whatever. And they didn't know, my son may needed a basketball uniform for AAU, or my daughter needed dance shoes, or this son needed this. And so I had to make those sacrifices. And so, and coming from my great-grandmother had a hand in rearing me. My grandmother always had a Sunday wig, and then she had a wig that she wore during the week. So that's where Mama's Best Wig comes from. And I didn't realize that some of her values kind of rubbed off on me, because then now it made me understand, oh, so Mama had, her wigs because she didn't have, who has time to go and get your hair done when you're raising kids? And who has, I do not know where these mothers get money for bundles. Like,
Yeah.
I do my own hair still now. I do not, I can't get in my head paying that much money to allow somebody else to do my hair.
Same.
So I still take out the time to do my own hair. And people are like, "You did your hair?" Yes, I did. And it's crocheted normally. But yeah, Mama's Best Wig, and so I sent it to some educators, and it's like, wow, we never even could imagine a story coming out of it where you are showing that it was a necessity to have a wig because of your financial, deficits. And I was like, yes. And so it's a funny, it is a funny story, because Mama loses her her work wig.
Oh.
The oldest son accidentally throws it away. And so she's like a little frazzled, because now she doesn't know what she's gonna do, because Dominique's recital is coming up, and all she has is her best wig, and if she keeps wearing her best wig to work, then it's not going to be suitable. So the kids come together and they come up with the idea to to raise money to get mama a wig, and they call the aunt, and the aunt helps them. It is a real cute story, because what I did is I brought it into modern times. So you'll see things like the mom using the tablet to see who's at the front door, and the kids using social media and electronic transfers to get the money to hide it from mom. So I kind of tried to make sure that I brought it into, modern times, and not when my kids were kids.
Well, I can relate to Mama's Best Wig, because I lost my wig one time, and everybody in the house was trying to help me find my wig.
Yeah, so it's a little party there where the kids are looking for her wig,
and I was screaming through the house, "Go look for my wig!" And it was at the bottom of the basket. But we found it. But that was my good wig.
That's your good wig.
Yeah.
No, that's the whole point. Is like, okay, but she's tired from working 2 jobs, and she falls asleep on the couch, and the wig slips off, and then Kaden comes down, and just pulls the trash, and not even realizing that Mama's wig was had fallen in the trash. Yeah. So yeah, I've heard that that is very relatable, and some of my friends' kids who has it, the kids love it. I've been told they want to read it over and over, and I don't know if it's because they see people that look like them, or what, or it is kind of like what we deal with that's not talked about.
Yeah.
And so a friend of mine say, you need to give me another book, because my child has this book in the car. That's all she wants to read, and she's 5. But then I also had another friend that said his daughter is 11, and she takes it everywhere she goes. He said she had a game, and he was like, "Dad, I need my book. I'm gonna read it at the game." So yeah.
And I know Tiara would love that book, because, like I said, she can relate.
Yeah, she
go find my wig.
Mama lost her wig.
Yeah. So do you plan on writing more children books?
Oh yes, absolutely. I have another children's book, actually one that I had before Mama's Best Wig. So all of this stuff, I'm never gonna stop putting out products, because I have so much in me. And so the next big thing is, I'll just move into producer, is that I'm doing a show for love language. And so, and I'm trying to work on a play for Mama's Best Wig. So those are my 2 big projects right now as far as production, and then I'm also applying to get into the LA Film School to hone my craft, perfect it, and they're going to teach me everything about contracts and writing for TV and submitting your. So I need all of that, and so I'm 49, but I guess God just decided that this is the right time for me to start living my dreams. So it's a lot of stuff. I have TV shows, I have other plays. It's going to be a continual thing. So in December, I should have 2 releases. One from a client of mine that signed under Hull House Publishing. Miss Evelyn Pierce is going to be, we're going to be publishing her book, and it's called Black Men Are No Good.
Oh. And
then the subtitle is, and if so, then it's the fault of the black woman. And I this is gonna it's gonna get a lot of controversy, because they can be like, what she mean? But really, it's educational, because what Miss Pierce does is she sheds light on how about the whole deprogramming of the black family, the defragmenting of the black family, how it has always been a systemic setup from us from the start to break down the entire black family and remove the black man from the household. And so she's just talking about how she believed that women allowed it because black women allowed it because it became like a survival skill for us. So if you want to remove him so I can get food stamps and take care of my kids, okay, well then we'll accept that system. And so it's very educational. It's not anything that you really thought. I'm telling you, you're gonna read it and walk away like, dang, Miss Evelyn.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna come out with my third book, and it's called Queen Building, the Queen Building Manual. And it's all of this stuff. If y'all follow me on social media, I do my own original inspirational quotes. And I put a little blog commentary to it. And so the book is going to be filled with affirmations and prayers and those inspirational quotes. And I think that that's going to be a big one, because women are already saying, I need that. And I already have people asking, like, when are you going to do the book? And so it's pretty much written. So kind of like love language. It was pretty much written. I just had to just put it together.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be my baby. So first of the year, y'all have like a little treat for me.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're going to need you and Miss Evelyn to come back.
Oh,
That
yes.
book.
Yes. Yes.
You look, Tracy talking about, yeah.
Yeah. Miss Evelyn, come on in. You got some explaining to do, Miss Evelyn.
Yeah, yes. So yeah, that's my big thing. In December, I'm going to, be trying to get her on some interviews and stuff, so she can explain herself.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely going to have to do some explaining. Whole House Publishing.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that? I know you already told us about
All
what
right.
y'all have coming, but
Yeah, Hull House Publishing is just, of course, my company. I do everything through Amazon. I mean, it's not like I got a big publishing company. It's just what God has shown me through my self-publishing, and He allows me to go out and help others. I do not charge a big fee. I just like, if you need me to help you, because I have a big heart, and God knows that I'll have people that just use me for my time.
yeah.
And so He said, you have to charge something, but it's not expensive at all compared to if you went through other publishing companies. And so I just simply help you. I had one client that I was helping. I was ghostwriting for her, but that didn't work. She got a little anxious, so I was like, just whatever you want to do, you do it. But that whole house, that's what we do. We can ghostwrite for you if you have a book and you just want to feed me the ideas, and then I'll write it for you. Or if you need me to help you with the publishing, like Miss Evelyn pretty much had her book written, I just have to edit and publish, help her publish, do covers, all of that stuff. I can help you with your cover, help you with your titles, help you with your table of content if you have one. She wants me to do the foreword, whatever you need as far as getting your book out there. That's just all that my company is I'm going to help you to push it out. And Amazon, going to KDP, Amazon is so convenient. It was a little tedious with Mama's Best Wig because of the illustrations and the color, but if you're not doing a lot of illustration and color, it is very easy for you to put your book in there, submit it, and get it published. And at a cheap price, you can get copies of your book at a fairly cheap price. You don't have to pay, that outrageous out-of-pocket expense.
Okay. Now, y'all, we just keep going down the list. All right, now for your t-shirts. Online t-shirts. I see that you're wearing one right now.
Yes, I'm wearing the Queen Blooded. I have what I call my Royal Bloodline collection, and it's all about is hyping up. I know people get tired of me with the Queen stuff, but that's just how I feel. If you read and you read about all the characteristics of a virtuous woman, and you know that you contain that virtue, it's hard to find a woman like that. But if she does, like Sierra operates in multiplicity. That means that God has anointed her to handle many different things, and it's a lot of women who are like that, and there's a lot of women who are not. And so what I had to understand, because when I was sending her the information, I said, oh God, like I got tired of myself about all of the titles and stuff that I had, and God had to check me. He was like, but you're anointed for that. Don't ever apologize for who you are. And so that was one of the things that I had to learn how to accept on this road to authenticity, is that you got to accept who you are. I mean, if you were called to all of those things, then that's you. Don't let anybody shame you or guilt you out of who God has called you to be. And so I had to just learn that. That's who I am. I am a t-shirt. I didn't just start this. This is like 20 years in the making. I remember the first shirt I designed was back in 1999. And so God just showed me a way to do it without having all of the upfront costs. Like I go through a third party. I go through a third party printer. I don't have all the stuff at my house. I just, I design it. And if you want it, then you want it. But I also have a her collection, and it's just, women empowerment. And then I have my courageous and powerful collection. So I have a lot of t-shirts, sweatshirts on courageousandpowerful.net. You can go there. That's where all my merchandise is.
I had already been on there. That's how I knew you was wearing your own. You was wearing your own sweatshirt today.
Yeah.
So I can go order me one when I order my books.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
And actually, you know what? When I asked you what was your titles, and then you sent them all, and you was like, I'm gonna tell you what you said. You were telling me like that, like you were
It's too
downplaying
much.
yourself. You like it's too much. You was like, no, you're not downplaying yourself. But that, like at the same moment, I was like, maybe I'm doing too much, in my head. And then you said that, I was like, okay, well, Marsita said I don't have to downplay myself, so I can do whatever I want to do.
Right.
But I needed that day. But after I messaged you and asked you, and then you told me that, and I'm like, okay, well, Marsita
Do
can
it.
do it,
Do
so I'm
you.
doing it too.
Trust me. If he calls you to do it, he's going to give you the strength to do it. We tend to start looking at ourselves and at our own hands, and we're not the ones that have the power to manifest. He gives us all the things that we need to manifest what he's given us. So keep doing it. Keep grinding hard.
Yeah.
Keep doing all of your
Yes,
businesses,
ma'am.
because the main thing is that we do not want to work for someone always. And that was the main point of Princess Code, was that I was trying to teach these girls that school is not for everybody. Everybody is not meant to go to college, and we try to push that agenda on our kids. And sometimes I've seen kids, I have had conversations with boys that have, one kid had been cutting hair since he was in 8th grade, and he had graduated, and he was talking to me. I said, why are you working for someone else? He's like, I'm a barbering no, go get your own stuff. You have the capability to own your own. You've been doing this for as long as I've known you. So go ahead and he was like, you're right, Miss Johnson. I need to go ahead and get my own. Yes, like, go ahead and do it. I've seen kids who have gone and, got their CDL and making more money than an educator who's gone to school 4 and 6 years to get that master's just so you can make a decent amount of, no. I strongly, I'm an educator, but trust me, I push. And I've always taught my kids, always have a hustle and an education if you can, because you always got to have something to fall back on. And I remember I started my daughter when she was in elementary school, baby. Went to the dollar store, bought little plastic bowls and wrap, and used my food stamps to get her candy. And we filled those bowls and wrapped them, and she sold them to her teachers. That was her first business, come in elementary school. And she's 26 now, and she's still grinding. Carter Mama.
Yeah.
She
Shout
has
out
her
to Cousin Carter.
Yeah. She has her boutique, and she does her own thing on the side. Girl, do it. Grind. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna make a t-shirt say grind set. People say mindset. I'm gonna say grind
that's
set.
a good one.
Yeah, that's good. It's good that you mentioned that too. Like you being an educator and being able to say that school isn't for everybody. I think that's huge, because society and these the system is designed to generate going to school, which generates workers in the in the corporate world. But if you have a different view, I mean, you can bypass school and still do something great.
Right. Right. I had one student. He eventually dropped out. I'm not saying that that's good, but he makes money selling cattle or doing rodeo.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's huge.
you making $10,000 a pop. Come on.
Right.
And sometimes we got to use wisdom in this thing. He was not the typical student, and I would never put that on a kid, because parents do emphasize, they put too much emphasis on grades. You got to do this grade. You got to. Then of course our state. You got to pass the STAR test. But you see how God just wiped that thing out, didn't he?
I wish you would have did it a long time ago. But
Yeah,
he did it.
You gotta say, I'll show you how much a STAR test means.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to God.
Yeah.
Peace, G-O-D.
Man, Big Jesus.
Oh my God.
Hey man, you gotta have a sense of
Yeah.
humor.
Yeah.
I'm sure God cracked jokes.
I'm sure he has a sense
yeah.
of humor, because I can look back on my life and say, God, you funny.
We got married twice, so you know that he got a sense of humor.
He was like, watch this.
Right? Yes, God.
Oh my God. All right, so let's get into your your topic that you wanted to talk about. And again, this is supposed to be girl talk, but everything is, happens for a reason.
Right.
So it's probably it's meant for you to be sitting in here.
Yeah. And they was looking like, wait, you supposed to be girls. So what are you doing in there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
we're gonna just dive in, and God does have a sense of humor. He has his own way of navigating us to where he needs us to be, and so one of the main things I really, really want to talk about is reclaiming your authenticity. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because this is where all of this came from me writing, from me doing my brand for Courageous and Powerful, from me just stepping out on faith and doing my t-shirt business. This has all only been like 2 or 3 years, because he set me on a road, and I call it the reclamation tour, because he set me on this journey to reclaim myself. And so that's where I am getting back to the reclaiming your authenticity, because we have a hard road. From the day that we're born, we are influenced by our parents. And then we go to school, and then we're influenced by the educational system. And then we go around our friends that have graduated from college, and they are holding these social statuses, and we're all trying to meet a certain criteria based on other people's influence. And so when I set out on this journey, it was a healing journey, but didn't know that the main part of the healing was for me to understand who I was. And so me telling you that about, that's just too much, that sounds too much, that was part of me getting back to who I was. God called me a long time ago to do a lot of things. I have always written from elementary school. Had stuff submitted in elementary school, junior high, won all types of essay contests, high school, college level. But I never really did it. I didn't never step out, because I was like, people think I'm doing too much. Yeah. And when I first made up my mind to write, I was going to do it secretly. I wasn't going to tell anybody I'm going to write. And then Pastor Shani Davis here in Navasota came up, and I'm going to tell you how God works. Because God gives me words. He doesn't give me anything else. He just gives me words like as a theme or something. And he had given me manifestation. And so Pastor Davis came up with Manifesting Mondays. And I say, what is this? Got into it and found out that he was giving you all the tools that you needed to publish your book.
Oh. So
he was showing you where to go to do your cover, how to get started, bringing people in, and it was all free. And he didn't know that I had started working on my book. And I was like, God. So I dived into that, and one of the assignments was to go ahead and do your cover, design your cover, and put it out there I was like, oh God, I do not want people to know that I was writing this book. And so instead of me just doing just the cover, I did a whole video. And so it was well received. He's like, that was innovative. Like he said, I wasn't even expecting y'all to do that. It was, I just want you to put your cover out there, because once you take that first step, it's like you've made that commitment to it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so the book that I was writing, I haven't even finished it.
No.
So, but it's called Finding the Courage to Let Go and Reclaiming Your Power.
That's a good one.
Everything that I have done is based off that book. The Courageous and Powerful website, the Courageous and Powerful channel that's going to be up and running. Everything, my whole brand is Courageous and Powerful, and I haven't even put the book out yet.
Oh. That's crazy.
So it's crazy. So this thing, I had to learn how to not operate in fear, and so that's where Courageous and Powerful came from. And part of the healing was that I realized that I was fearful, and God says He does not give you the spirit of fear. And I was like, wow, but of power. And so then that's where my little tagline comes on. Once you step into your courage, then you'll receive your power. So once you start operating where you say, okay, I'm not going to let fear just keep me captured. I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do. And you'll see that once you take that first step, God has everything else, because it's according to His plan anyway.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
good.
Yeah.
So that authenticity thing is real. You have to, and it's a stripping away. You have to start thinking, because what's so crazy about it is that I got to a point where I was uncomfortable with being me. You know, have you ever been around people and you really want to be you, but you're uncomfortable because you think, oh, they might say you act in a certain way.
That's been me for forever.
And I was like, that is crazy. Why should I feel uncomfortable with being me around other people? And so that was one of the biggest steps, is stop being a people pleaser. You can't please everybody.
I told you I was gonna need a sheet. Where are my sheet?
Right.
I told you I was gonna need a sheet.
I'm
You said
telling you,
something
that
in
was
when
the
you said that.
first thing. Like, I was like, what am I doing? So yeah, so I'm like, when we be in staffing, I might talk a little ghetto, I might be myself, and they be like, you don't have to do all of that. But it's me. You can ask your mama. I'll bust in the office and start singing and dancing. That's me. Like, other people be like, oh my God, like, you shouldn't do that. You're in a professional setting. Nope. I'm going to be me. And so either you're going to like me or not. And so that was the first step. And then, of course, just going back and finding those dreams that I had put on hold. Because another thing that we do, and that's the other part I was saying, self-love versus self-care. You cannot do self-care until you learn how to self-love. And so I realized that I lost my mom early. I lost my brother early. And I really didn't I was beginning to ask God, so what is my purpose? Like, I was smart. School was easy for me. And so I never thought that I wouldn't get a college education. I never thought that I wouldn't be something, but it just wasn't fulfilling for me. And so it got to a point where I really didn't know what I was living for. And then I ended up getting pregnant with my first child. And it's like everything turned around, like, okay, I have something to live for now. But also I got so wrapped up in taking care of kids and taking care of my husband and making sure everybody else was okay, that guess what? Marsita still got lost. I still was not living for me. And so this whole reclaiming my authenticity is me realizing, girl, you done missed out on a whole lot of stuff for yourself. I have wasted a lot of time, a lot of energy on other people. And so the first thing I had to do was learn how to love myself. And so that journey has been the most liberating, is that love yourself for who you are. You are who you are. You are who God created you to be. So stop letting other people, what they say, affect who you are and influence who you are. Be you. And so that was a freedom that is like none other. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be disrespectful. But if it's for me, and I just have to learn that I got to be protective of me, and I can't let people take advantage of me anymore. So I had to learn how to self-love. And then you start understanding that the self-care is important, because even if I was a mother, operating as a mother and a wife, and I was doing all this self-care, oh, I'm going to go and take a vacation, or I'm going to go to the store and buy something for myself, but then I come home and I still don't love myself, whatever I bought is still not going to be satisfying. Wherever I went still is not going to fulfill me, because I still come home empty, because I haven't learned how to love myself first.
That was just all that is for me.
Yeah, yeah, she said some message.
Yeah, talking to me right now.
Oh, and then of course the third part is setting the boundaries. That was the hardest, because anybody asked me for anything, like yes, I'll do it. And I know I have 50 million other things that I'm doing, and I'll still, because I wanted to be there for other people. And then I found myself so exhausted. I'm just exhausted because I'm doing everything for everybody else. And one thing that I learned when I went to Dallas is that I had a friend that started saying, you can say no. And I was like, really? And that was the first time I felt like, oh, it's okay to say no. And then I had another friend do the same thing. They had asked me to do something, and they said, it's okay to say no. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
so it started like seeping into my system. Oh, it is okay to say no sometimes, especially if it's going to deplete you. You never want to operate from a place of depletion. You don't ever want to try to operate from a place where you're empty. You do not want to do that to yourself, because then you will be alone trying to get your mental state and your physical state back in order all by yourself. But if you start setting those boundaries early, what happens is that you are beginning to take care of yourself from the beginning. And you have, your husband will understand that. If you have a talk with him and say, you know, baby, this is how I'm feeling, and I need, you know, just a little time for myself to get back to who I need to be. And he'll understand that, versus you just retreating to yourself and not talking and not saying anything. Do not ever do that. And
Try.
you know, and then if he doesn't understand, I'm not talking about you personally.
Right, no.
I'm just saying, and if
Yeah.
he does not understand, you have to take ownership of yourself and say, hey, I got to do this for me. Last Monday, I had to take a day off. I had already taken the day off, but someone hit me and messed up my car. That's a whole nother story. But God, I had already taken that day off just as a mental health day. I used to laugh at my daughter when she say, I'm taking a mental day. I was like, girl, what are you talking about? And then until it became real to me. Yeah. Sometimes, because education, especially nowadays, on top of everything that they've asking us to do, they're just asking for more. More. And a lot of teachers are exhausted. I'm telling you, like, we are burnt out, and they have, you know, given us extra days off. And I never take off unless I want to. I never take off. If I'm sick, I'm there every day, unless, you know, I want to go somewhere or do something, then I'll use those days. But baby, no.
Yeah. And I feel like jobs should give us a mental health days.
Oh yeah.
That's important.
So that's boundaries that you have to set even on your job, and say, no, you're not going to work me till I get the 300 gray hair,
Yeah.
or I feel like I'm about to stroke out. No, you're not. You know, sometimes you got to be okay that if it's not PTO, that you okay with, okay, I'll take a day without 200 and whatever dollars, just so I can make sure that I stay healthy, you know, mentally.
Yeah, and that's me too. I mean, when it comes to work and, you know, taking off, like for the most part, I go to work. But if it's anything dealing with my family, that and I need to be there for my family is the most important thing to me.
Yes.
So if I gotta take off, you just gonna have to understand,
Right.
You know? And another thing you said, you spoke on like mental or whatever, you like taking a mental day or whatever, you have to protect your mental.
Yes.
Because, you know, when you get to the point to where you about to, you're a nervous wreck, you about to have a breakdown, and that becomes a problem because that compromises your health as well.
Amen.
You know, and that's why when I my wife, she can tell you, I'm always asking, like, just randomly, you all right? You all right? You know, because I care about her mental. You know,
yes.
Not that she's a nut or nothing like that.
I'm a little crazy, sometimes.
I just,
No, you're not.
you know, I just gotta. I need that reassurance that she's okay.
She's good. Yeah.
You know? So
That's a wonderful thing. And I just want to say this, and people think that, oh, now everybody have this mental awareness and mental illness, and that's why it was one of the things that I touched on in the Princess Code, is because I was a counselor in training, a mental health counselor in training, and one thing that we learned is that we cannot diagnose children under 14 with any type of mental illness. The law won't let you, but that doesn't mean that they're not experiencing it.
Yeah.
And so I tried to educate them. And then plus us as believers, we have to realize that most battles that we fight are in our mind. And our whole mind is a battlefield. And if it's not right, if we're not able to operate at a certain capacity, like you said, you got to make sure that you're good, because if you're not good, it could really be bad.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
It could really be bad.
Yep. And I definitely, she don't know it, but I mean, I depend on her just as much as she depends on me. So we're stronger together, and you know, you got to protect that mental.
Amen.
I'm gonna help you protect.
Let me
that
find
mental.
out you read love language.
Oh,
yes.
That's just my take on it. I've just never had the opportunity to, you know, really speak on it. Because I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. God go bless me with somebody.
Oh Lord.
I mean, he definitely will. I mean,
No, but that's my whole thing. And I call it the reclamation tour because I'm reclaiming some things, and it's not that I want everything back that's old.
Yeah.
It is a journey where God is restoring. And so when I say reclaim, it's really restorative. Like everything that he's given back to me is refreshing. It is a renewal. It is a revival. It is not like I heard Miss Evelyn say one day that it's like you never even lost it.
Yeah.
When God gives it back to you, it's like you never even lost the time or the energy or the money, because he has a way of coming in and just giving it back 100-fold, where you like, oh man,
Yeah.
that's that peace.
Yeah.
That's that
I believe
peace.
that.
mhm.
Yeah. I feel like we went to church today. Don't you, Tracy? I mean, DJ Song go?
Sorry, she got me in the middle of switching songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a phenomenal segment. Not saying that it's about to end or anything, but I think it was much needed. Like they always say, you know, things happen for a reason, and I think it's a reason you're here. Not only because, you know, I think Sierra reached out and then you agreed, but just I think this conversation needs to be had. I wasn't even supposed to be in here today.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be in Girl Talk, but you know, it got rearranged and I'm in here and it's working out perfectly.
Right.
You know,
Nothing is a coincidence or an accident. So when she said, well, Shay's supposed to be here, and I could see the nervousness on her, I say, girl, God is just about to use you to move into where you need to be. This is your training. Sometimes we are nervous. We are scared. Again, just taking that step forward is our courage to do it, and God handles everything else. I don't ever think that, and believe it or not, I still get nervous.
Yeah.
I get nervous to speak. I get nervous to sing. I get nervous, but then once I open my mouth, it's like, I don't know what's going to come out.
Yeah.
It just comes out. And so, you know, that's just me operating and letting the Lord do whatever he needs to do. Because, like, I have no cards.
I'm saying you never even looked at your note cards.
I haven't even used these note cards. Oh, ministry. Let me shout out my pastors, Pastor Perry and Carolyn Harris at Fresh Start Ministries.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you for everything that y'all do and y'all release me to do, because I know sometimes it could be some pastors that are in leadership that can be shaking their head, but not y'all. I want to just shout them out. They support me in whatever I do, and I appreciate that. And it's love. It's a lot of love. So if you're looking for a church home,
Yeah.
stop by 3030 East 29th Street in Bryan, Texas. Yeah. Oh,
Fresh
Suite
Start
103, Fresh
Ministries.
Star Ministry, Brazos Valley. Remember that, Brazos Valley.
Yeah, you know, that's my uncle and my aunt.
Oh man,
Yeah.
look at
And
the
he
family.
married
Look at
us.
the family.
Yeah.
He married us.
Yeah. Uncle Perry, you know.
Yes,
that's my
Uncle
mom,
Perry.
That's my mom, brother.
Oh wow, that's real close. I see. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I love them people. Them that's family.
Yeah, they are good people.
Yep.
All right, so my last question is, being all the titles you have, being a queen, say that. How do you handle all of that?
All of that.
Yeah, I'm just saying all that, so I don't have to name them all again. Just
Right.
How do you handle all
All
the
of that.
titles and
The roles
just
that come with
yeah,
it.
Right.
yeah, all your roles and just being trying to be yourself. Like, how do you handle it, and what advice do you have to any women who have multiple roles and they're just trying to be themselves?
Right. First of all, I just want to say, you got to make sure that it's you. It is your calling. Sometimes we fall into that imposter role where we see other people doing stuff and we think, oh, well, maybe I'm supposed to do that. No, like I said, I've been writing since I was younger, and I know that that's what I was meant to be, Sierra, because God will wake me up out of my sleep with ideas. The other day, I just came into the room and wrote a song within 10 minutes. So because he just gave me the words and I just started singing and writing. And then, and I always forget what I write. If it's a song, and then Marquisha and Parisha say, you have to start recording it. And I was like, oh yeah. So Parisha has a lot of songs for me. I like, as soon as I record them, I'm like, here, can you do something with this? Can you do something with this? But you have to be real with yourself and find it. And once you just kind of own it and say, God, yes, I'll do it. He just let it flows. He lets it flows. And I was saying earlier, my advice to women who operate in multiplicity, because I believe that is a real thing. Because there are some women who just have that gift. That gift, that anointing is not to be taken lightly. Don't, people say all the time, I wish I was like so-and-so. I wish, child.
Yeah.
You don't want to wish that you had anointing or gifts like someone else, because like I said, I could be in my sleep and God wakes me up. He's giving me a quote. He's giving me a play idea. He's giving me a book idea. I wrote Mama's Best Wig in one day. He just gave me the title and I started writing. And next thing I know, I was finished with the book. And that's how it normally happens. The same thing with the song. He just gave me the melody. He gave me the line that was going to be the line for the chorus, and I just wrote it. I mean, but it's that's what you have to realize, that if it's something, it flows. It flows. It's something. I'm not saying that it's 100% spiritual, but it is a spiritual flow that when it's something that you're meant to do, God allows it to happen. And like how y'all started one thing and then it started branching off. I just wanted to write a book.
Yeah.
I committed to writing a book.
Yeah.
And from that book stemmed a writer's page. From the writer's page, an Instagram page. From that, productions of the 2 books. From that, more books. So a publishing company, and all I did was commit
You only
to
asked for one
write
thing.
one book. Yes, like that was my goal. I'm gonna write this one book, and once I committed to writing that one book, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 3 books before the year's out. And so, Queen Building is gonna be the 3rd book for the year, and just like that. So if it's something that God is tugging on your heart and calling you to do, as long as you commit thy ways to the Lord, and He will direct your path. That's all I can say.
All right.
That's my advice.
Awesome.
All right. Can you let the people know how they can purchase the books, the shirts, all your social media handles?
Yes, please go to courageousandpowerful.net. It's all one word. On there, you have the capabilities to access my books. I put the link, is connected to the Amazon link. But if you send me a message on the website or on my Facebook page at MJ/Marsita Jordan, I can hook you up with autographed signed books for $15 instead of you going through Amazon and paying shipping. And they're a little pricey on Amazon. It's because I put the work into it. I'm not going to shortchange myself, but I do get copies at a cheaper price, author copies. So I always try to hook people up if you want to go that way. So you can go through courageousandpowerful.net or shoot me a message through courageousandpowerful.net. It comes straight to me. And on there you also see my t-shirt merchandise. If you go to MJ/Marsita Jordan on Facebook, it's connected to my Instagram. So anything I put on Instagram shows up on that writer's page. On Instagram, it is MARS_JAY_. And also the store is on there. So if you want to purchase t-shirts from there, you can shop on Instagram as well. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I know, right?
Yep.
And actually, once we put the link to the podcast, we can connect the links to your books on there. So if y'all want to purchase the book, we will put the link on DJ Slim Goldie page connected to today's segment.
Right.
Make it easier.
And this segment, for those that don't know, will be available on Apple Podcasts and on Reason Podcasts. The audio, it'll be up today. It definitely be up. Y'all got to give me a little time, but it'll be up.
Y'all follow me because this is just the beginning. So, the production that I'm doing, even for Love Language, of course, we're going to shop networks to see if they'll pick it up. So it's a beginning. Like I said, I have a couple of television series that I'm going to be working on in the near future. And hopefully, God is opening up doors. And so at first I had my plans on how I wanted to do things. And then He kind of had allowed me to take a step back and say, now let me show you this. And so I'm thankful.
All right. Well, I'm glad that I know Miss Marsita Jordan before she blew up.
It's coming.
Yeah. I'm glad to say we had her on GrindHard podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. We already knew about Love Language series, TV show, play.
Yes.
Yeah.
And trust me, I would come back. I'm not that type of person. Y'all, anytime y'all got the hook up.
All right.
And I kind of think I can act too. So if you
Definitely.
Don't
Look, I got all the. I be trying to get friends on to write with me because I was like, y'all know the hookup is I can put you as an executive producer on the show and you get paid. And like I'll be trying to hook people up. Seriously,
just make him executive producer. Don't have him on there acting.
Hey, if you want to act, he might want to write his own part or something.
Oh Lord.
Yes, I got you.
All right.
Like I'll even probably put Sierra in some acting parts.
Oh, give me some anxiety pills and I'll do it. Get
God
low.
is gonna give you the power, girl. He's moving you past that. Trust me.
Oh, A shout out to Rush Hour Mobile Bartending
Hey!
Services.
Yeah. Shout out to the main sponsor, Rush Hour Mobile Bartending Services.
Yay.
Kept us hydrated through this segment with the adult beverages. We had some spiked lemonade.
Yeah, just a little spiked lemonade on this Sunday.
Yeah, on the Lord's Day.
Yep.
But thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. And I hope that I didn't, talk y'all ear off. But
Oh no,
no,
perfect time.
It's always a pleasure to get new insight. We never be pushing like hurry up. I mean, it's your segment. You come in here and you speak your mind.
praise God. Okay.
All right. So hopefully we get to have you again.
And definitely gonna bring Miss Evelyn.
Win the book.
Yeah. And bring. Ooh, I'm telling you.
The book that's coming out this year. So maybe we can reschedule you in. Maybe we can get the little exclusive.
Oh yeah, we might have to have some after dark love language.
Oh yeah, like
they
10,
gotta be
10
girl
p.m.
talk.
Yeah.
Make sure that's girl talk. Miss Shay don't
No.
call in that day.
Oh.
Nah, I love you, fam. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just poking at you.
Yeah, one more time, shout out to Miss Shay. Hope everything is good with her.
Yes,
She
Shay.
will be back next week.
Yeah. She definitely brings a lot of energy to the studio.
Oh yeah.
Especially them two together. Oh man.
All right, so that's it. Segment 34.
34.
It's a wrap.
All
It
right.
is a wrap, man. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday, man. Can do something productive, or if this is your chill day, continue to chill, man. I thank y'all for taking the time out of y'all day to tune in to GrindHard Podcast. This segment will be available later. I ain't gonna talk y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all be blessed.
Peace out.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Woo! I know y'all heard them twins in there.
Yeah. We talked about it.
Yeah, Don said don't come out. Y'all gonna get ice cream.
That's great.
They came in.
Yeah.
Or came out.
They still you hear them, they still talking.
Now I know my earring fell off, but I didn't want to be digging for it.
Oh Lord. You hear what
There you go.
Cece?
What you want, mama?
Where's Cece?
Oh, it's a long way off the couch. What you doing?
What's up, man?
Look, I'm
No,
scared.
she was